Hey everyone, let's keep this AgTech Dogwalk going. And for any watching, thanks for all the subscribers so far on the new newsletter feed. I'm sure it'll trickle in even more from different colleagues and followers and whatnot. It's going to be fun. Just trust me on that one. Anyways, for today, I kind of wanted just to talk a little bit about actually another newsletter from a friend, colleague in the AgTech industry, Patrick Hancoop, who put out a little, I think it was top 10 trends in AgTech. Nice little write-up. I've known Patrick for a while. He does some great work. He's a smart guy, knows the industry, knows a little differently than myself and others. So, reach out to him if you ever need any help. He knows what's going on. But talking about what he was talking about in the newsletter, I don't have that all in front of me, so I'm just going to kind of wing it here, because that's really what I do anyways. So a few pieces of the trends I know he brought up, like consolidation in AgTech. I mean, yeah, that's obviously going to be a thing. There's quite a few out there that are they're in the struggle bus. Some groups are rethinking their strategies and buy one up for cheap. Why not? A lot of it's just acqui-hire stuff in a sense, and maybe they get 5, 10, 15, 20 really good people and all that. I know one group that is kind of in that mix, and of course the arbitration going through, trying to get bought and closed. Oh, it's terrible. I wish that upon no one. But yeah, one thing that kind of grabbed me is that there's going to be a big major deal. Last year, I mean, every year you see something and you kind of hope for something, but last year was not that really. I also love it that sometimes, someone gets bought and it makes this, it's a big parade of, oh my God, these two together will be this, when actually recently a lot of these, you call them mergers, or one mid-level group buys another smaller group. Yeah, there's financial troubles. That's usually what's happening. The owners, investors really don't get much from it. It's not like kind of the beginning days of some of those giant deals early on. Granular comes to mind and whatever. Of course, we all know how that went. People don't want to do the same mistake. But, to this point, the robotic weeding stuff, or the see and spray type tech others have, likely I could see one of those going pretty big in the hundreds of millions. To Patrick's point, $1 billion might be a reach, but then again, maybe one of the biological groups or something. There's a few there that they're enticing, they're growing, so that'll be interesting. One thing he also mentioned was kind of a growth, I don't know if you use the word rebirth in AgTech, and getting people to go into it more, and just kind of a renewed interest. And I see that too. What worries me a little bit around that is, I think there's a want, but with the ag economy the way it is, farm bill kind of where it is, it's still shaky ground. I think what I've talked about before is I think where AgTech maybe needs to go is get back to its basics. Before all the crazy money came in, there's plenty of groups really, working hard, kind of building it up more organically, because that's really all you could do. Ag retailers were starting to bring it in more. Then all the money came in, it kind of became distracting. But, we don't do enough normal precision ag agronomy. Like, okay, here's a image, yield data, soil data, whatever data sets put together, create some zones, do some soil testing, and do some quick variable rate. I've heard from a few that they're not really dropping it, they have to rethink it, because going through that process is labor intensive, it's time intensive. There's all these new techniques, and some are maybe just going back to the simple basics of let's get something going in your field with some level of tech, instead of trying these big things that have been spread around and talked about. So I'm indifferent, I guess, on that thought. There's a want to change things though, and switch things around from the chaos. So I think there's some good things there. I'm just trying to remember some other pieces, but either way, I think the investment side is like there'll be a trickle up there too, and I can see that. With the new administration here, at least if you're not in the U.S., there's plenty of chaos probably still to come. I think we all understand that. What that is exactly, I don't know. I'll tell you this from the Earth observation space, which I'm also deal a lot with, the satellite side and all that. That world's crazy right now, mainly because of Elon Musk and all that. So, but what it's doing is bringing this renewed interest into maybe private-public partnerships, much like SpaceX does with NASA, much like crop insurance does with kind of the USDA. It's a little different. I'm wondering if that will open up, and that's what'll kind of usher in kind of a lot of renewed interest in it. I mean, it all comes down to money. Where's the money coming from? How does it do what? And if that happens, investors see it and they're like, okay, if there's some level of government, at least a way to get into it easier, let's put money into that. Who doesn't love a long-term government contract? So I think at least for investors, the ones that don't understand the space are going to stay out. They'll go to AI. They'll find whatever the new trend line is, because that's what they do. Some core ones are sticking into it, and they've finally found out how it kind of works. There's different niches in ag that work a little differently, and some of these investors should just concentrate on some of those niches. Maybe this whole idea of let's all go for corn and beans everywhere throughout the world, or I don't know, I think there's better opportunities going into more specialty areas. Maybe it's potatoes. Up where I'm at, there's sugar beets all over around here. It's literally a pile right down the way. Or maybe some more specialty tracking with, different specialty crops, whatever. That's where I think the investors are going to go. That's where they probably should go, really honing in on finding these other gaps in the industry. I remember another colleague who's works a lot in the tree markets and, orchards out west, and he brought up a good point one time on a call. He said, most of the commodity crops, I mean, for precision ag and all that, you guys got it more or less figured out. Not everyone maybe does it, but what's needed just to catch up to what's possible, it's all there. It's just sitting there. There's all these other tools, different methods, softwares, sensors, you name it. It just needs to be more adopted. But he said on the specialty crops and orchards, like, we are 10 years behind on some of that stuff. And with the high value dollars and all that, it makes more sense to put more money into that stuff, because as when climate came out and tried to do their $10 an acre thing based on weather data, agronomy, whatever you want to call it, that's too much for an app and normal data unless you have someone servicing it. Out in the specialty markets, that's nothing. That's literally nothing. It's, even though it might be the same process, $100 an acre can be very doable there on some things. So that's probably where it's going to go. And as always, Patrick writes a nice little informative, precise newsletter. Mine are going to be a little different, but I don't think people want the same thing. So anyways, cheers to Patrick and all he's doing, and all the other stuff to do with the big consultancy group. And it'll be interesting what happens here. Anyways, that's it for today.